Welcome to another episode of Something for the People. This is your boy B Hunt, aka the Silent Prophet, along with my co-host Big Country.
What's good, people? Mrs. Too Real for TV back at you.
That's real. Why are we speaking about TV? Specifically, movie screen, because these been off the. Who's worse, Jenny from Forrest Gump or Mia from The Best Man?
Okay, we were having this debate, battle, argument, whatever you want to call it beforehand. I'm sorry, I think Mia was more trash. Did Jenny do a whole bunch of messed up stuff? Yes. Yes, I think Jenny was trash. But Mia, out of all the people you could screw, you screwed my best friend. And I'm like, that's something you'll never get over. Because forever, it's not like he was a friend, now he not a friend no more. This was your friend from beginning. I think they were friends in high school, on up through college. And you have him as the best man at your wedding.
Right.
And you knock my wife off.
What I'm going to say is, so what's worse? Your friend knocking off your feet? Or your girl hiding your kid from you and only telling you about him because she about to die from AIDS?
See, and like I said, both of them are messed up.
Nah.
Both of them are messed up. But I'm sorry.
One of them is Thanos level
like,
messed up.
for example, part of it was, and I just gotta tell you the truth, it was because Forrest was smart when it came to a lot of things, but he was stupid behind that girl. Like, if Forrest had daddy in his life, his dad would have been like, hey, Forrest, she don't want you. Forrest, move on. Forrest, there's other women. You are a millionaire, Forrest. You have a company, Forrest. You could do all this other. You're famous, Forrest. More women want you, Forrest. But Forrest didn't have a daddy in his life. So Forrest was just like, oh my God, Jenny. Forrest beat up dudes for Jenny. And she still wouldn't screw them dudes. That's just a hoe.
No.
Nah.
There's levels to it. You saying it's just a hoe, but there's levels to it. Because hoe, she just loose with the draws. That's what that is. She wasn't loose with just the draws.
She just didn't want to get Forrest the draws.
Exactly. Only time she saw fit to give Forrest any type of play is when her life was on the downhill. Literally her life, because she didn't have much time left to live.
See, but
how do you get introduced to your kid? What's his name? Oh, it's Forrest. So how do I know that out of all the umpteen trillion dudes you had intercourse with, that you want to name your kid after me? Stop. Now, you only want to come back when you recognize that I was the best thing that ever happened to you.
And Forrest was stupid enough to take her back.
Yeah.
But Mia, out of all the people in the world.
Let's discuss it.
Okay, for example, Mia pretended to be a good girl. Lance thought she was a good girl. She knew that Lance had been screwing people. So you can't be like, oh, you mad now. You've been knowing Lance messed with people the whole time that y'all been together. But then he stopped for you.
Right.
But you got in your feelings one day because more than likely one of your friends was like, I can't believe you with him. Then why would you be with Lance? But instead of you just saying, you know what, Lance? I don't want to be with you. I can't do this. It's not going to work. You decide, hey, let me go find his best friend.
Go find his best friend?
Yes. Go find his best friend and screw his best friend. And then not only that, your best friend wrote about it in the book.
Yeah.
And not only did you couldn't even tell me. Only reason I find out is because I see this fool acting funny, and every time, because if you watch the movie again, I'm just saying, I don't mean to cut you off, but if you remember in the movie, he had the book, and the thing was, Lance was like, oh, I need to read it. And this was at the bachelor party, and he put in his jacket. And then Harper, Tay Diggs, he over there getting danced on, and they took off the jacket, and Lance saw that the book that he was supposed to have, Harper was like, he took that book back. So he was like, man, what's going on? He kind of acting funny. So he goes into the bathroom. He's reading all through the book and everything. Nice. And then he puts all the connections together.
Right.
Because Lance didn't think nothing of it. And they went down in history, never telling Lance that, oh yeah, my best friend was deep in my girl. Mm-hmm. That's we supposed to be getting married. Now, all of a sudden, and Lance is like, nah. Even when the strippers were trying to come at him, he was like, nah. Y'all gonna holler at my best man. Gonna get him.
Yeah. And
that's the only reason I find out. So both of y'all were trash enough, y'all couldn't even tell me.
What I'm saying is this. One, he was gonna read. The reason why he was gonna read this book, because I'm sure that Harper had wrote other books that just wasn't good. But he wrote this one. It was actually good. But he had the audacity to dedicate the book to them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you want to, like, this part of your life is so pivotal that you...
But they switched it. Because if you don't remember, what's his name character, Terrence Howard character, was talking about it, and he was laughing because he knew from the beginning.
Yeah.
But if you notice, they switched the characters because Nia Long's character was like, hold up, but if me and you never slept together, and then that's how she found out. Lance, the only reason he found out is because Harper kept doing janky stuff to keep him away from the book. So it already put a red flag in his head.
Yeah.
So if Harper wouldn't have put that red flag in Lance's, he would have been like, oh, well, you screwed Jordan. Okay. Whatever. But it wasn't until that red flag. But the fact that my best man and my future wife screw each other, then the fact that on my wedding day, pray with me, brother, I'm going to stomp you out in front of God and let him deal with you.
Because then you play on my religion, too. Now, if you just said that maybe the best man, Tay Diggs' character, is on par with Jenny, because you can't be worse than Jenny. Jenny's like the absolute worst.
Don't get me wrong. Jenny was trash. But I don't even think the baby was Forrest.
How would you know? But also, think about it. You came and slept with me. Let me finally hit. I gotta go get checked to the clinic. I might have AIDS. I don't know, because Forrest Gump, for the show, he just, non-oblivious, a little off.
So that was the thing that I didn't understand, because Jenny been screwing everybody and their mama all throughout life.
Yeah.
And magically Forrest is the only one she get pregnant by?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm just like, she pinned the kid on him because she wouldn't have to do the Maury thing. Well, guy 16. That's what I'm looking at. Like, you just did that, and you gave him a piece before you did it, so he wouldn't question nothing. He'd be like, oh, it's Jenny, it's my son, we keep moving. Because it's not like Forrest ain't got money to go. I own stock in Apple. I'm pretty straight, bro. I got a strip club.
Yeah, he had a shoe deal.
I got a shoe deal. Come on. I've done a lot.
He got the Purple Heart and everything.
I'm kind of a big deal.
But that's only because Forrest didn't have a father. This whole game would change if Forrest actually had a daddy in his life that, hey, nah, Forrest, leave her alone. Like, come on, man.
And also, could it be that Forrest was looking for his mother in Jenny? Because his mama was already loose, knocking out teachers to get him to pass class.
Well, okay, let's be real. His mama technically wasn't loose. She just wanted her boy because, they said he was a little slow, so he wouldn't be able to go to school. Hey, there's a lot of mamas out there that's like, oh, what? To keep a light on, to keep bills paid? Okay. That dude down there? I'm in a bind, Nate. You remember that one? Yeah.
In a bind.
Exactly. I'm just saying.
Look, man.
So, are you really going to say...
Jenny is top tier garbage. Like, she's
I agree. I agree that Jenny is top tier garbage.
Thank you.
But Mia
is not on grounds that she technically was a good fee. Like, hey, I ain't doing no extra. I'm real chill about this. You kept like we only looking at it from the male lens. You gotta look at it from the female lens. She got screwed around.
Okay, well, if we want to play that female lens,
and over and over and over and over and over and over.
And from the girl's point of view, if you want to look at Jenny, Jenny, she didn't really know love because her father abused her and all that kind of stuff.
About what did Forrest do outside of not be her type to get the treatment he got? He got friend zoned hard, and he didn't have the mental cognitive abilities to pull himself out of the friend zone by giving her what she really needed, some distance. She preyed on him. Like, she preyed on him. She's a predator, bro. Mia ain't no predator. She's a liar. Oh, and I wouldn't even call her a liar because he just never thought to ask her, did you sleep with anybody else?
Did you screw my best friend? There's certain things I shouldn't have to ask.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to know your body count.
That's what I'm saying. She, by default, you never gonna ask me about your best man. So it's like, she's guilty of omission, lie by omission. Jenny ain't omitting nothing. She accepted all comers as long as their name wasn't Forrest. You know what I'm saying? And then after she accepted all the comers and took all the drugs and got all the diseases, and she had a kid and a dead end job. I don't even know if it was at IHOP or what she was working at. But after she figured out life is really hard, what's my escape plan? The same dude I've been preying on and playing since we was 4, 5, and 6 years old. Forrest. Come meet Forrest. I doubt that kid name should have been Forrest. And then she set her son up for failure. She named him Forrest to be raised by Forrest, who been sipping his whole life. That kid ain't gonna get no quality information as far as how to pick a female. He gonna get played too. It'll be Forrest Gump too. Just a new Jenny. Just a new Jenny. At least
I guess I'm gonna give you this one, but I guess Jenny was trash.
Jenny was garbage.
Don't get me wrong, Jenny was trash, but I still think Mia up there at trash. We ain't gonna just.
She's up there.
We ain't gonna just give Mia a pass.
She don't get no pass
because do you honestly be honest right now? Could you have married Mia?
No.
Ain't no.
I don't know.
That wasn't real life.
I can't. And I couldn't marry Mia. If I had married Mia, I would have to divorce Mia. I couldn't give her nothing. Because I'd be like, you should know why. If I had known what I known, we wouldn't have got here. And you know that. That's why you omitted it.
Because let's just be real. If it's your best friend, like the person you've been with most of your life, that's like, I'd be so pissed off. I don't know. I'd probably kill you. Because the fact of the matter, that of all the people, all of them, you had to get the person that you knew was closest to me.
The one that would hurt.
The one that you knew for a fact, this would mess up his whole world. Then you gonna act like it never happened.
I'm also gonna say, because being that it was his best friend, the closest friend, I would even say, like, if you knocked off any of my homeboys, and we already had set up that we was gonna try to make this a thing between us. So I'm not trying to fix nothing.
See, and that's the thing why I say it hurt even worse, because if Mia would have been like, she smashed Quentin, the other dude, the one that was the player, I'm pretty sure Lance, he been pissed off, but he was like, it's Quentin.
I mean,
it's Quentin. He does that all the time.
And I'm sure, and I'll be like, just based on the people around. It's like Quentin Q, he ain't doing it just to do it. Like,
yeah, he was like, hey, it was there. I did.
It was there. It was an opportunity, bro. Like, and it's not. And I'm sure he. Like,
I know you're gonna be mad, but you know it didn't mean nothing.
It's like we ain't just like super. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know that y'all was serious. Like, it's not like we have in-depth conversations enough for me to know that that's your girl. Like, I suspected y'all was cool.
Yeah, but you was smashing everybody at that point in time. Like. So I'm like, okay.
Now your best friend,
he knew for a fact.
Yeah, I'm smashing everybody, but that's the one that I'm serious about. And you know those conversations come. It's different. I knock her down.
Like, if it would have been Lurch, Lurch wouldn't have got beat up. No. Because it's like, oh, man, you felt pity on this dude?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you had to find the person that was closest to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say she trash. Because you couldn't just find anybody and do what you did.
Right.
You had to find that person.
One, that guy. So, yeah.
I mean,
she's bad. She's trash.
Don't get me wrong. She's trash, but I agree with you. Jenny is top tier. It's like, you can't find somebody else in history that wouldn't be Jenny.
She definitely a demonic presence. Need an exorcism for that one. All right. So, where is the child's place located? Okay? And do you think that it's better for children to understand the real world or to stay in that supposed child's place until they experience the real world?
So, the reason I had brought this whole thing up is because I remember old school. You had to stay in a child's place.
Right.
Like, you couldn't be around when adults were talking. You couldn't be in an adult's mouth. Run your mouth when adults are talking. You're going to get popped in your mouth. You knew for a fact.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you see a lot of children trying to be adults and act like adults.
Right.
And I'm not saying I think it's bad that they try to act like adults, but then I think about a lot of things that in some ways they're more prepared because they've heard these conversations and experiences now versus us when, like, the first time you saw a boob, hell, you had to sneak to see a boob because every time you watch a movie, your parent hit you with that, turn your head. Like, God.
Leave the room.
Mm-hmm. Or one of them kind of things, cover your eyes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was like, how I look at it is like, staying in a child's place, that was good for certain points, but then it was like, we did a lot of stupid stuff because we didn't know and we were trying to figure it out.
Right. But with that being said, it's certain things that you can forgive because of ignorance. I can forgive you if you're ignorant of it. Like, okay, he ain't never seen a boobie, or he never really... If he did get somebody pregnant, granted, he probably shouldn't be doing that in the first place, but if he did, well, who told him about condoms? We didn't have a conversation about the first to be. So you are willing to accept more, like, missteps. Like, oh, man, because nobody told my bad. I should have said something about that. We got to fix that on the back end now.
Yeah.
So that's one way. What I'm saying is this. I don't want to just solely, like, dive into hypersexualization, because that's really what it is. Like, there's a part of adulthood that has to do with respect.
Yeah.
And it's I'm not talking about from child to adult. I'm talking about from adult to adult. Like, you have to respect other people's thought processes and all that. And even if you can't come to a, mutual agreement on it, you can at least, I agree to disagree with you, fam, and I'm going to give you some distance. That way, whenever that come up, we just get out each other way. How about that?
Yeah.
That way, you can believe what you believe. I can believe what I believe. But I ain't got to impose or force my will on you.
Agree.
Whereas kids these days, they don't have the conversation about respect. They just get all the sexual talk. The clothes got shorter.
True.
The videos got more explicit. The television shows are inserting all kinds of different lifestyle choices and things like, not just because a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he's just talking about, the LGBTQ plus. No. I'm talking about I'm talking about drugs. Because
Yeah.
you got children's shows now that are trying to explain drugs. I'm talking about domestic abuse. Because you got children's shows now that deal with domestic abuse. And I understand you like, well, exposure. But I just feel like as parents, if you going to try to keep them in an adolescent state, you should allow that parent to deem, hey, when is it beneficial for me to tell this to my kid? They don't even let the kids at school who got, pushed into certain things sooner than other ones to have your kid come back and ask you, so what's that?
Yeah. But then again, as we know, when we were children, a lot of times your parent was like, oh, you don't need to know about that. And don't get me wrong, at a certain point, you didn't need to know about that. Right. A 5-year-old learning about sex, I'm going to be real. There's no reason for you to even talk about that. But even I knew there were students, there were parents, there were people, like when they were 12, 13 years old, they got them sex talks from their friends because their parent refused to acknowledge it.
Exactly.
And be like, hey, yeah, we do need to talk about this.
There's a space. I feel like I can't withhold information because the curiosity is what kills the cat. So everything that I tell you, no, don't look into that. Don't stay away. Obviously, you're gonna jump across that fence and see what's on the other side. Yeah. And be like, why is this so coveted? Why is this so? And usually those who are just so far inexperienced, they're the ones who make the mistake initially, because a child who's at least had the conversation, like, yeah, I know if I go ask my pop, hey, I need to get, some condoms or something, like, because she talking about it. I don't want to seem like the guy, and he's going to be like, I can understand. I can respect that space. Granted, I'm going to be like, it's a little off. I prefer you not. But the fact that you at least thinking enough to where, hey, I need to find some way to protect myself against certain outcomes. Yeah. That lets me know you've reached a level of maturity where we should be able to have this talk. But if I don't feel like I can even have just a base level talk with you to understand that there are two different sexes.
And that was one of the things I knew back in the day. A lot of parents wouldn't even have the talk. It's like all it was, like, I remember when I was young, I never learned about the birds and the bees from my mother and father. I learned from a big brother. Mm-hmm. My mom and dad, the main thing my dad told me, and I'm like, it was just the way they did it those times. You better not have no babies.
Right.
I didn't even know how to have a baby, but you better not have no baby.
I need to look up.
I was like, babies. How you have babies? You used to believe in the stork and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, oh.
Well, mine was different. My dad definitely set us down. And it was like a real casual conversation. Mm. But he was real. He was speaking to it, but he was cryptic. He said, man, always keep a hat on your jib. Always keep a hat on your jib. Mm. And I was like, okay. Then, we had the supplies necessary to keep hats.
All right, you did the banana.
No, we didn't go.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Bruh, if you ain't smart enough to read a package, that's your fault. For all of those, pinch the tip. Done. I you tremendous. And proper size it. Everybody ain't Magnum. It's okay, bruh. Mm-hmm. Pleasure's pleasure. What I'm saying, I'm trying to help him, bro. I
mean, but that is real because everybody swore up and down. Oh man, gotta get that XL Magnum.
No, you gonna have them XL.
You ain't XL dude.
You ain't XL dudes, dog. It's cool.
I'm like, hey, she like what you got, so don't worry about it.
I'm just like, what girl in your age range, is at least mine anyway, gonna be like, oh my gosh, you gotta come in with a spoon.
Bro,
you got to. I'm just saying, bro. Just saying.
Nah,
if you got to,
I know this.
She's not for you.
Nah, it was bad because what was this? My 9th grade year. I'm gonna just say this one real quick. So we over here. I'm over here chopping up with this girl, and she over here telling me, I'm like, this is 9th grade. She said, I only mess with dudes 13 inches or more. I'm like. I'm like, what? Like, okay. I have no issue with people that are of the LGBTQ or anything. I'm not gay. But in my mind, I'm like, what dude you mess with? Well, 13 is I'm dingling right now.
Right.
In the ninth? Like, he just, like, and I'm like, I used to tell him, well, you need to marry him then.
Yeah.
Because you're ruined for everybody else.
Yeah, there's no fixing. I know you say it's elastic, and I'm not here because it's a lot of cancel culture talk happening right now. I don't want you to cancel me on this because personally, I don't care one way or the other. If she did find 13 forearm, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? However, what I'm going to say is this. If she's out here taking 13 baby leg, at what ninth grade is that
14, 15?
14, 15, look. I'm not for you. I'm gonna get out your way.
See, but then I also think about on the other aspect of it. A lot of times our parents were just like, hey, don't get in the car with strangers. Don't do this and don't do that. But a lot of times, like, I know more children nowadays are more forward thinking because it's like, oh no, there's real predators out here. There's dudes out here. Like, I hear it. Yes. And you hear about in a lot of schools, a lot of things going on now. Oh, hold up. In daycare, and he was like 10, and then the teacher was sending inappropriate message at the daycare. I'm like, he 10.
10.
I'm like,
so it brings back the validity of the question you asked initially. Like, at what age am I supposed to tell you to be conscious or cautious around these people? Because if at 10 years old at a daycare or a school, wherever he was at, I gotta be the person instructing you is out here trying to show you her body.
Yeah, I'm like I have an issue with that. And I'm father of a daughter, and I love my daughter to death. And I will kill for my daughter. Yeah. And I saw this video just yesterday where it was a father, he was letting his daughter go into the restroom and everything, and he opens the door to the women's restroom, they like at a park. And then he's like, hold up, let me make sure there's nobody in here. Hey, if there's somebody in here, you better make it known now. And all of a sudden, a dude walks out, he's washing his hands, and he dries his hand, then leave. But if you look at the timestamp from when the dude walks in there and the daughter walks in there, it's like 5 seconds delay. You ain't hear no water running or anything like that. So it's like, what if that man was there waiting on some woman or some little girl? And I'm like, it gets bad because it makes you paranoid. And it's like,
that's the problem. How protection and providing.
Yeah.
If you got a sectioned off area where I'm not supposed to go in as the protector, yeah, and that's where the predators are finding themselves. But at the end of the day, my kids are important to me. The people, the women I love, the kids all mine that I care about, that's close to me. I need them in the safest environment possible. Exactly. Unfortunately, because. And just like I watch the news, everybody watch the news. Just like I read newspapers, other people should read newspapers. I didn't say all people at that point. Know. You know what I'm saying? What I am saying is this. In order for me to feel safe and secure with my people, my loved ones, going into these spaces where, hey, I'm going to respect the rules and I'm going to stay out of it. Yeah. Stay out of those spaces. I can't allow everybody to be if that's the case, I need a family restroom, and I'm going to be like, nah, I need to be able to walk into the family restroom. Anybody in here, check the stalls. I'll be outside the door. Yeah. And I'm talking about doing that to you well up in age. Because if a grown man walks out of a stall, I highly doubt that my daughter or even my son going to be able to overpower this dude and protect himself or protect herself. Yeah. I don't see that happen. So I'm like, no. You can keep it male, female, but make sure everywhere I go personally got the family restroom with the one stall that I can walk in, double check. I'm gonna step back out.
Nothing to say on that because I 100% agree with it. I'm not going to, don't get me wrong. I believe in fairness and equality and all those kind of things. But I don't play about my kids, and I don't care who feel any way about it. I don't care if you say, oh, well, it's my right. Hey, your right don't trump my kids.
Exactly. Because a lot of people going to say it's because I feel this way. I feel like if you like to preserve your life, don't mess with me, my wife, and my kids. Keep us separate and apart from all foolishness. That's why I'm like, if y'all need to use male and female and y'all got that and y'all want to flip flop, I won't mind. Like I said, mine says family. Only people with family. And I ain't going to hit you with the whole, married wife and kids. No. Because some single fathers, some single mothers out there who need the same security, the same protection.
Yeah.
If it's the family restroom, nope. I can walk in. I'm going to come in, check it out. Then I'm going to go just put a chair right outside the door. Be like, nah, somebody in there. Somebody in that one. Somebody in there. Go and use another one. Or you can wait.
I'm going to be real. I hate being in the family restroom with my kids, but then I know I got to because it's like, for example, I want my children to be safe, so I will watch. But then I also want them to be safe and not dirty because I'm kind of a germaphobe. And you know how little kids just be plopping on the
seat.
Don't do that.
Down. But I'd be like, for my dog, I'll go in there and I'll prepare the space. Here go the tissue. Make sure you wash your hands. Yeah. Go to paper towels. Make sure you do everything before you come out this door. I'm going to be right outside. This door. Make sure to let her know.
And that's the thing I'm
right outside. So if anything, all you need to do is yell because I can hear. I'll be in here. Because, and this is really speaking to my paranoia because the world may be this way. I didn't start this
way. Because we know what this world is. Yeah. So that's why I say, is it good for your children to stay in that child's place or for them to learn certain stuff? Because it's at a certain age, for a fact, and I hate the same thing too, I can't be there 24/7 with my daughter.
Right.
There's certain places she's going to have to go. There's certain things she'll go through that daddy can try his best to protect you and teach you about. But I'm I wouldn't be able to do that. Thank God she got a mother that could help her with other things.
Help me out. Keep me in line because you got to be. Because I know you'll be able to fend yourself till I arrive. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, take her to the. Do what you got. So, that being said, I feel like just like majority of the electronic devices we have, and I know y'all why is he going on an electronic tangent when we talking about something so serious? But stay with me. Everything needs updates. Our ideas as far as how to maneuver in this new landscape, because at this point, I agree. We do need to have people and have their rights, and y'all deserve everything that we trying to get. Do you? I'm not here to knock good people because choices they made about themselves. Right?
Yeah.
However, I am trying to say that we all know before this landscape existed and after this landscape, during this landscape that we're currently in, there are people who wish to find those loopholes in the system to get an advantage over the good people that are out here. Somebody out there trying to mess us all over with our own, I'm giving this to them because they deserve it, but in giving this to them, I also took some away. I took a level of security for myself.
Yeah.
So it's how do I insulate myself while also giving you the space in the room you need to grow and develop and find yourself? And that's why I'm we need an update. And I know a lot of people they got the gender neutral restrooms or you know what, just allow them to go wherever they want to go. Everybody trying to figure everything out. But I'm why are we figuring it out? I noticed that during a chemical reaction, that's really everything trying to figure out. That's the heat. That's the friction. That's the change in the molecules. In this case, that's the change in the people's opinions and all this stuff. Because I'm like, hey, you got a lot going on. End of it, the person doing the test on the chemicals usually have some form of PPE, personal protective equipment, to keep themselves safe. So I'm just like, while we figure out what we are or what we will accept or how far we willing to take this thing and get true inclusion or whatever we want to call it, while we're trying to figure that out, I still need some safety precautions for the kids. Because at one end of the spectrum, I'm not trying to go off and tell my daughter about having full on sex and connolingus and fellatio. I don't want to go into that at least before anything teen. It needs to have teen on it so I can say it like 13. Please let me make it to 13 before I got to start explaining wild stuff like this. Okay? Personal. Mm-hmm. However, like I said, I was watching the episode of Gravity Falls and the Love Guide. They out here trying to find some potion. They open the back of his van up. It's women and guys, everybody in there, you know. And I'm like, this is a kid show for real. So I'm like, at that point, we take our liberties because you're like, that's gonna go right over the kid's head. And then to be honest, to be truthful, for my daughter, it really did go right over it. She didn't even get that. She was like, oh, it's people in the van. Keep moving. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, at a certain point, like, that could have been the conversation start. Why are them people kissing in the van?
Baby. You over here.
And I'm like, I don't want to push this conversation away because I know that the second that I neglect your curiosity, you're going to need to fill that void. You're going to need to know the answer.
And you're going to try to find
it. And I don't want you to go seek that answer from someone else because the way they going to display it because especially if I'm leaving it in the hands of a cousin or something, an older cousin, then obviously they going to give you some skewed perspective because their conversation or their knowledge of it is so, privileged to me. Like they don't have a full grasp of it. They just know if you stick it in the slot, it feel good. And that's what they trying to tell you. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. So I got to give you that conversation, right? Mm-hmm. I just don't like how the current climate, the current world forces your hand.
Very true. Very true.
It's just one of those.
I do believe that old school way, it needed to be revamped, even in the old school. Mm-hmm. Because there were a lot of things that we should have known that we didn't know because our parents were like, oh, well, you a child. Stay where children stay.
Stay right there.
But I'm like, they would say that up until probably about the age of like 17, 18. That's where it's like, okay, well, you can't sit at the little kid's table.
They say it until they have no choice. I'm like, guilty by omission. You kept me out of the loop for so long. Like, you notice that we as adults rarely have the need to go back to ask our parents about a lot of questions.
Yeah.
That parents should be like, well, you never had to ask that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, somebody at some point should, well, my dad did, like I said. But it's some kids I know that never got the birds and the bees taught.
Oh, yeah. No,
like, they just never, and they got to 18, and, they've been doing all these things, and they like, oh, you just acting grown. I didn't know how not to act grown, because this is what all my friends were doing.
Mannish.
Like, all my friends were doing. So I went to the party, and you ain't tell me about drinking and smoking. You just said, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
So I'm at this party, and then they like, oh, you want to drink? Well, I don't necessarily know what the bad or the good of it is. I just know you do it all the time, and you still alive. So boom, now I'm an alcoholic. Before 21, Granted, I'm not, but still,
But that's the thing that I think our parents kind of, our generation parents kind of messed up on because they didn't want to give you all the things because they were like, you a child, stay in a child's place. Right. Instead of, hey, at this point in time, you do need to know these things.
Right.
But then now it's like basically there's no child's place. It's like now children are acting like adults because their parents and everybody else is like, oh no, you need to know it all right now. Yeah. It's like you're exposing children to something that they don't need to know at this point in time. Because I've heard a 10-year-old cussing people out. And I'm like, explain to me why you would let your 10-year-old cuss like this.
Right. One, I would have to be like, explain to me why you allow your 10-year-old to curse like this. And then two, is your cursing so atrocious to the point where your 10-year-old has picked it up and now because all kids I've learned by having my own, they are just yak backs. If you don't know what a yak back is, it was this old contraption back in the day. If you said something to it, it would say it back to you. And if you got the really, really good ones, they could say it back to you in different voices, okay?
Yeah.
Have a kid, you have the upgraded version. This one will grow
and say the same thing.
Exact same. I don't like her shoes. The second they are just literally brimming, waiting. My daddy don't like your shoes. Oh my God. Wait, why did you say? I'm sorry. I don't, but I'm sorry that she told you. I don't know.
Well, because children don't have a filter.
They don't have no filter.
They have not been raised to that point. So if you say it and they hear it,
it's gospel.
They're going to say it.
It's going to be
it's like they don't understand that whole thing. And I think a lot of parents need to actually sit down with their children and actually discuss with them a lot of things. Hey, everything has its time and place. First of all, as a child, you shouldn't be cussing because, as I've told a lot of people, if all you do is cuss, you have nothing intelligent to say.
Right. It shows a lack of intelligence. Like, those people who use cuss words typically, I'm not saying all of them because, like I said, there are exceptions to every rule, but the vast majority of them are just showing you that their vocabulary isn't as extensive as it needs to be to have a full-on conversation because there's multiple ways to say things. Like I just said, you can say head or you can say fellatio.
Yeah.
Like if you say fellatio, if you say that around a kid, fellatio. They gonna go around, and if they do repeat it, they don't know what they talking about. Mm-hmm. What are you saying? You know
what does that mean?
I don't know. My daddy just said, "Don't say that." You know what I'm saying? I can put that. I can just throw it out there for you.
Yeah.
But when you got it where, hey, I'm just gonna say it in the blunt form, then they gonna give it to you as blunt as you get it. Like, that's where it is. But for closure, I would say, hey, because of what's going on in the world, our current climate, there are certain things where a child's place is necessary and should be respected. However, because the media and the world at large isn't necessarily respecting that, just help the kids understand that, hey, there is just having a sex talk isn't adult talk. Like, sex ain't the only thing adults do.
Yeah. Responsibility,
accountability, respect. All those things, they all play a part. And if you can't master, accountability and respect, if you can't master those things, we don't even need to talk about sex.
Discipline.
Right. Because once you get something good, you going to keep wanting it. And if you don't have that discipline to tell yourself, hey, let me get out. Hey, look, this thing, we got to slow down. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. That could put you in a bad position. It's okay to like, but if you still got teen in the number, I wouldn't suggest you love. That's a lesson for somebody, kid. Hopefully they ain't watching this show though. Is Mother's Day a day for your mother or your wife? Now, I would suspect that this wife is a mother at this point. Right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I'm like,
it would make no sense for you to. You can't have Mother's Day if you hadn't had a baby yet.
Right.
You are not a mother.
You're not a mother.
just like Father's Day is for fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Not your boyfriend that you want to call daddy.
Right. And all right, so, and that, like, stepfathers, do they count? Stepmothers, do they count?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I still agree with those counting. So, the reason why I would say Mother's Day is more for your mother, because you look at it more for the woman that birthed you, to celebrate, to honor her. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not for wives, but I'm like, the first initial person is your mother, or like, I would even say for my mother-in-law, because I'm like, she's a mother, like, and things like that. But I wouldn't put my mother-in-law over my mother, because my mother is the one that birthed me.
I look at it as far as investment. So every Father's Day, Mother's Day, granted, Father's Day, they be a little off because, you know, fathers don't really get the time. And I'm telling y'all, Ferraris for Father's Day. Go rent yourself a Ferrari. Just drive through the city. Enjoy yourself. Get something you like. Because you deserve it, okay? You putting forth that effort. That's what I'm going to say on that. Back to Mother's Day, because that's where everybody want to drop the bag. Cool. When it comes to Mother's Day, I think of it like this. It's the investment, right? So, when your kid is not successful, because most elementary kids are not successful, right? They just being kids. So, you should be happy with your macaroni necklaces, your makeshift cars, your little bookmark that get laminated for you in the art classroom. That's what you get. Like when you start putting off onto your husband, oh, I had your kids buy me a diamond necklace. Nah, I bought my mama a diamond necklace because she got the cars and the gifts that she was able to appreciate those. The investment is paying off. I'm successful now. My thought processes, my belief system, all that, they came from her. They came from the people before you. They put the work in to get us here.
Yeah.
So when I go and buy my mama these things, you should understand. When you go buy your mama them things, I fully understand. I fully understand. Do you? That makes sense because they the ones who put forth the effort, right?
Agreed.
But the gifts that we gonna get as us being parents, we gotta see if the work we put in benefits or helps the world in any way, and if it does, if it helps the world in such a way that it's monetarily valuable, cool. Yeah, now I can, okay, son, you bought me the watch, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got me the game, that's top notch. Your son bought you the neck, oh, that's great. Paid you something, whatever they did to show you that they value the lessons and stuff that you input in them, that you imputed. Then yeah, you deserve that.
And I agree. I 100% agree with that. It's not that I wouldn't do nothing for my wife for Mother's Day.
Definitely gonna do something.
Yes, I'm gonna do something, but you don't get the same because this is for my mother, just like it should be for your mother. Right. Just like Father's Day comes around, it's like it's for the father.
Right.
Now, if you do something for your husband, the father of your children, that's great and fine.
Mm-hmm. Respect it.
But it's mainly for your father. And that's one of the reasons why I don't understand why there's always seemed to be I don't know, it's always seemed like there's a little bit of a clash when it comes to wives and mothers. It's like, who's the top leading lady kind of stuff.
That's because there's a lot of bleed over in the roles from where they sit. In their minds, like, they want to be the top. Their status needs to be top late, and they don't necessarily know which status has more superiority or more status associated with it. Is it being your mother or is it being your wife? Nobody ever questions who gets the status when it comes to father and husband. They really don't. The
dudes know it's like, hey, you got her now.
Right.
Okay, you take care of that.
That's you.
I'm over here on here.
I'm back to my wife now. Mm-hmm. It's just me and my wife chilling. That's your responsibility. I've handed her off to you. So now when it comes to all her bills and needs, I expect you to find some way
make that happen.
To make that happen. If you do need some assistance, I'm going to give you a little flack, but I'll help you out because it's my daughter. But the bulk of that relationship is on who? On you.
Because it's crazy. Most times I've never heard fathers and the husband be like, oh, well, he think, she think. It's like, no, I ain't got nothing to say. It's like, oh, you do things with your father? Okay, cool. You do things with your husband? He's gonna be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but that's just because I don't ever question my status in your life. I know I'm your husband.
Yeah.
I'm not here to try to figure out or try to figure, but I'm not here to try to discuss status with you or try to figure out who's the bigger in your life. When it comes to your childhood, and if you're reminiscing, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, definitely your father got because he got the time. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to being like a major player in your active life, and I've married you, and I've put like your lifestyle is greatly dictated by my income or by my thought processes, belief systems, and all that. Yeah, well, I would automatically assume, and like I said, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I ain't gonna go and try to challenge. I don't care enough to challenge it. Like, oh no, if it's Father's Day and you buy him the biggest thing that you could find that relates to him, and don't buy me nothing, that's A-okay.
Yeah, I ain't gonna trip.
I'm not gonna trip. I will go get myself something. Like,
but you ever notice with most men, it's never the, oh, I need something. It's like,
if you buy it, cool. But also, being majority of the time, at least in all our current situations, if I'm out here and I'm doing a lot in reference to breadwinning, like I'm sacrificing the most. Most time I don't need nothing. Like, the main thing when it comes to men is when you see my family and you see them doing well, know that I'm the reason that they're doing so. I've done something. Yeah. I'm not just out here.
I put forth that work.
I put the work in. So I have busted shoes if my son got J's. I don't mind. I'll drive a raggedy car just so he can ride the newest bicycle. Not my issue. If my car get me to work, it's good enough for me. I'll fix it I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure the money keeps flowing. Anything related to provide for my family, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that's intact and stabilized. And that's only because when you see me, I don't really care. I can look as busted as you want. The people who see me on a consistent basis and know I'm putting on for them and doing for them, as long as they understand, hey, we don't need to talk about daddy dirty shoes. Why? Because they dirty to keep yours clean.
Yeah.
Don't
to buy them new ones.
Yeah. When you see me, you gonna show respect because all the things that you have until you up to a certain point, it came from a pocket. It just wasn't yours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Women, on the other hand, it's like, like if your mama in the kitchen cooking something, you like, that's my favorite dish. A smarter woman would be like, well, let me just ask him for the recipe. Try to figure out how
to make his favorite dish.
Yeah, because if he been eating it his whole life, he ain't gonna have no he's not gonna complain about it. Let me figure that out. Okay, cool.
That's logic.
That's logic. Instead of being like, so you just enjoy your mama cooking so much more than mine. Why do you got to take something that was positive in my childhood and make it negative? Now I got to combat you over my favorite food. Stop.
I ain't gonna lie, that lasagna was good.
The lasagna's lit. You know, I'm sorry. It's just delicious. So, like, you can try to compete with it, or you can just go get the recipe. I'm sure she'll give it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you can always put your own spin on it, try to improve on it. Like, hey, why not?
That's what it is. Like right now, off dump. My wife, like cookies, like homemade cookies. I put it up against any cookie ever. And I had a lot of cookies in my life. But the cookies, they next level. The absorption rate on the milk to the cookie is perfect.
Really?
It just absorbs. I'm just like,
it absorbs enough cookie
just
and
milk to where it's right, and it does it fast enough. Because Oreos, you gotta soak them. I mean, like, you can't be Milk's favorite cookie if you resisting milk like this all the time. Nobody likes this.
But I'm gonna be real. I'm looking for a tea cake recipe. I love tea cakes.
Talk to my mama. She got one.
But I want. Okay, hold up. We talking about actual tea cakes, or we talking about, because some people be hitting them sugar cookie tea cakes. No. It's like, hold up, that's not a tea cake.
Nah, my mama got. And Ronnie B. Mama has a lit tea cake recipe too. I don't know if she gonna get on to you, but it's amazing. My mom, it's labor intensive.
I don't care.
But sugar cookies, you can make them pretty simple. But the tea cake recipe is a lot of.
See, the reason why, and this is where I wish they take it real old school, Big Mama style. Big Mama have a cookbook.
Yeah.
It's like, write down her recipes and stuff like that. Like, my play grandmother, before she passed away, I wish I would have got my own Grandpa Daniels to give it to me. Because she had this $1 million pound cake in there. Oh, that pound cake was so delicious. But I ain't never found a pound cake just as good. But I'm like,
it's in a book.
Around and somebody else done got it. I lost it or something.
They got the recipes are meant to be cooked. If it's good, it's meant to be recreated. Okay? Yeah. That's what I be hating. People be letting the good stuff go by the wayside. Yeah. Because you don't want to do the labor. And that's like...
See, I was talking to my mama about it because she's supposed to be writing me this cookbook. I was like, hey, mama, and it was supposed to be back for Christmas. I bought a cookbook that you could just write in. I was like, hey, mama, I want you to write all your recipes down. And she trying to be funny. It's like, oh, just in case I die. I'm like, no, because I want the recipes.
I'm just like, everybody try to figure out like the wheel at the end of it. And we got to get past the point of talking about death like we can avoid it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you just waiting on me. I'm not waiting on you to die. I'm just acknowledging the inevitable. So yeah. I'm not rushing your life away, but I do want the world to experience, like, even in hey, kids, this cake recipe came from my mom.
Mm-hmm. This one's been passed down the generation.
That's when Birdman said it, put some respect on the name. This right here is part of us. It's in book form, or we got to go buy the ingredients, but the taste, this is our taste. This is what our food tastes like. Like, it's a real value. Like, people want to dismiss it as if it don't. I'm like, no. If you want to eat my mama's lasagna, it ain't something that she just walked out of another kitchen and brought. She sat back and she one day was like, ooh, I'm going to add this. It hit. Ooh, I'm going to add this. I ain't really like that. Ooh, I'm going to add this. Over time.
Yeah.
It's a work. It's just been worked on and toiled over to where I got the things I want in the lasagna. It's good now.
Agreed. And so, that's how it should be.
That's how it be.
But it's this whole thing, Mother's Day, shout out to all the mothers out there. I really want people to understand, if you have a good mother in your life, the mother of your children and everything, and she's a good woman, she deserves to be celebrated. Nobody over my mama, though, because just for Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. Because of the fact that, man, that's the woman that gave you life. If she is a good mother, you should make sure she's celebrated. Cool. Your anniversary is when you're married. Birthdays are for that specific
That's your
person.
Personal holiday.
Yes.
Take off work.
It's like, but Mother's Day is for your mother. Father's Day is for your father. Mm-hmm. Everybody else, it's a trickle-down effect. But it can't be like, oh, well, I'm going to do this over my own mama for Mother's Day. No. It's like, nah. Everybody gets their just dues. It's like, get your flowers on your day. Yeah. Some people be trying to get their flowers every day.
They just find a reason. Oh, what? Valentine's Day? Nah, you need to just buy me something. I thought it was declaration of love. Yeah. Granted, it's Mailman's Day, but we ain't gonna dwell on that. I'm not.
Well, they have that one thing. Apparently, it's up north. It's called Sweetest Day, but don't nobody in the South know really when that day is or anything about that. So basically, it's make it seem like, oh, Valentine's Day for the girls, and if you're a dude, that new word sassy. Oh, you want something for Valentine's Day? Oh, you being sassy.
That's one. Shoot, can we switch a topic to you know what grinds my gears? Every time it's beneficial to a man, it got a negative connotation behind it. It got a negative statement. Oh, that's misogynistic. Oh gosh, not too long ago, that very act of opening the door was called chivalry. It was chivalrous. Yes. Now, you just looking at my booty.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm being...
Well, shoot, man. There's a lot of things out here. Oh, you're being toxic.
Yeah, toxic. Just so you know, it's brought to you by...
As always, love to shout out my beautiful wife. Love you, baby. I ask y'all to check out her product lines, Yanni Like Mine, Traces Like Mine, and Wasted Desires. Wasted Desire, you go wasteddesires.com. They have waist beads, ankles, thigh chains, all those things to make your body glitter and shine. Waist beads too. Traces Like Mine, this is hair care product for a black woman, by a black woman, but for all people. You know, they always say in the store they don't have things that work with black people's hair. This is a woman doing it for you. Then we have Yanni Like Mine. Yanni Like Mine, if you don't know what your Yanni is, ladies, look it up. It does not clean itself. So also, shout out to Brittany Boston Up. She is a counselor out here helping young people do better, be better. She's doing motivational speaking. She's doing everything she can to help this new generation find their way in this world. So y'all look for her, shout her out. We gonna always shout her out. Nate Price, Grit and Grind. He is a personal trainer. I'm going to cut that part. But he's a personal trainer that is out here doing it. He helps you from beginning to end, trying to get you that success and that body that you want. Derek Kelsey, he is also a personal trainer. He actually helps a lot of young boys and girls that are in high school get to that college athletic level that they want to be at. He's helped a lot of people who get those scholarships. I asked y'all to check him out. Yeah, what you got?
So, I'm getting my cousin Mike, Wiggly, like they call him in these game spaces, but he runs a podcast called SOB.
SOB.
It's not that way, okay? It is not that way. It is state of being. If you don't like what he's saying today, stick around, listen to him tomorrow. Most likely he'll be talking about something more attuned to what you want to hear. Also, you got Tyler Bailey, Luxury Clothes by a Luxury Guy. When I say luxury, I do mean luxury. Cool beans. And then the main people that I personally would like to shout out. You might know them. You might not. I think you do, though. It's us right here. Cool beans. That is something, the number 4, DA people. If you're on YouTube, type podcast, minimize those search results, and it will come up a lot quicker. Like, share, subscribe. If you are on any podcasting platform, and I say any, I do mean any podcasting platform, type in something for people. Podcast, if you need to, but you're on a podcast site, so you really don't have to, but something for the people, and that's also going to bring us up. Boom. If you want to know who we are, we're the one with the gold line. If you're on any podcasting platform, however, we would like a 5-star rating. If you could give us a 5-star rating, what that does for us is immense because it pushes our broadcast out to a wider audience so we can find more people like you and me who enjoy this type of content that's more level-headed and not just trying to say, oh, men are always right and women are always wrong, or women are always wrong and men are always right. I think I said the same thing twice. Whatever. That. What I am saying is this. If we build a community, we build a village, they'll come. And if you want people, because they say majority of people by 2030, which is what, 6 years away? Not even 6 years, because we almost halfway done with this year. So they say by 2030, the majority of women will be single and I don't even think they'll have kids. I got to look it up, but I think it's single and childless, right? Therefore, if you wish to avoid such a fate, maybe you can get those men to take on ideals such as ours, because if nothing else, even if you don't fully agree with the things we say, we are 2 married men who, as far as I know, currently intend to stay married. Right? You know
Hope so.
Hope so.
If God willing.
If God willing. If God willing, I'm willing. Mm-hmm. How about that? You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to say it one more time. This is just for the people in the back that can't hear good like that. It is something, the number 4, DA People, YouTube type podcast. All right. So, going into just so you know, Gary Owens discussed his messy divorce with his wife, Duke, with his ex-wife, Duke. And he also discussed his estranged relationship with his kids, Austin and Kennedy. And my question, because he did it on Club Shay Shay. Mm-hmm. My question is, do you feel like social media or podcast platforms, whatever it is, do you think media outlets are the platforms to, give such a or have type of conversations like that about?
Okay. How I look at it, for the majority, no. But I will say in certain cases, yes. In Gary Owens' case, yes, I would agree it's a good way to do it. Some people do it just because they want to do clout. They want to just bash somebody and talk about that. I have never heard Gary Owens one time talk bad about his family, his wife, or anything. All he ever has done from that, I hate that they didn't make it, but all he's ever done was either big ups to his wife, he's always shouted out his kids, he's always been an active father in his children's life and things like that. But in the media, the way everybody pushes things out, oh, well, he don't want to be a father to his kids. And on Club Shay Shay, because I watched a piece of that interview, and he was like, no, I was the father. I was on the team. I was one of the coaches for one of their teams at one point in time. I was doing the active father thing. So for me to be estranged to my kid really hurt my heart. And then they were asking about, he had 2 new children and how they felt, how he would feel about it. And did he do this because he was estranged to the other ones? And he was like, no, it's like, I really love my children. I love being a father. Right. But he hates that the way things end up being because of that. And I'm like, there are times where I'm like, your voice does need to be heard. If you're doing the right thing, I'm not just going to sit here and let people keep bashing me or talking crazy to me when I know I'm a good father.
Right.
Like, but it's like I've never heard him say one bad thing about his wife or about his children. Right. And even when he was having the interview, I still hadn't heard nothing bad.
True. I'm at an impasse with it. Personally, I'm more of a as a celebrity. For the most part, my observation of it is everybody's always so intrusive in your life anyway. Yeah. And a large portion of why a lot of these people, from what they say in these tabloids and magazines, what they say is a large part of the reason why they get divorced or can't make it work is because there's so many people in your life. And they are in the personal aspects, the things that should be covered. Like, I shouldn't have to tell you I shouldn't have to tell you to back away and let me live my life with my wife and my kids. I shouldn't have to do that. Yeah. Like, me getting divorced is not something that I want plastered on every news article. But I understand a gossip rag do need, something to feed the people who want to look at all that, right? Because Carter being Offset. Now they talking about, she got the booty injections and it's emitting some smell according to what the media say. And that's why Offset was turned off and had to dismiss. I'm like, man, why are we even talking about?
People are too focused on the wrong thing.
I'm like, did she make a good song? Did he make a good song? Leave the rest of that alone. If that is the reason why he distanced himself from his wife, that's on him, bruh. But what he was here to give you was his art, his music, right? Yeah. Gary Owens, if he does a comedy bit about being divorced or how because a lot of art comes from life, right? Yeah. if he did a comedy bit trying to explain to you this strange kids and all that, understand that that's the bread and butter. That's what kept the family fed. So he gonna express himself with his art form, and that's just what he's gonna do. However, to have sidebar conversations and really dive in deep or seek the sympathy card or whatever you gotta do, the fact that he even feels the need to seek the sympathy card lets me know that there's people in there with information about what's going on with him, or they think they got information about what's going on with him and it's false, and he feels the need to try to steer the narrative back to correct. And I'm like,
yeah,
no, I shouldn't have to do that with my personal life. If you want to say I fell off with comedy or acting or whatever artwork I decide to put out to you, if you want to say I fell off with that, cool. That's what I gave you to critique. But me as a person, that's why I'm always on that whole, if you a football player, my mission ain't to be your leader or the person who your child looking. I'm not the role model. Unless your child want to play football, look, if they want to play football, check my work ethic and check that. When you're going into my family life and that dynamic, unless you want to look at my upbringing, I don't necessarily know how the way I interact with my wife is playing into how I move on the field.
One of the things that I've noticed when it comes to celebrities, the smartest celebrities keep all that out of the media.
Right.
Like, I could say, for example, Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, you could talk about
Method Man.
Yeah, Method Man, definitely.
Yeah,
you ain't even seen his wife nowhere.
I'm be like Method Man and Redman.
Yeah.
Like the way they move in the media is
Denzel Washington.
Denzel.
Like, you don't hear nothing. You can't even say, oh, well, I heard. No. You don't hear one word about any of these people's wives or anything. Most of them, their husbands are the stars. They're the one, but they know for a fact, I'm gonna keep my family's life private.
Right. This is not a spectacle.
Yes, and I can respect that. And their wives understand, hey, I'm not getting on social media, say this or say that or air things out. It's crazy that a lot of time people out here want to air out their dirty laundry to social media.
Yeah.
And it's like, broke people do it, rich people do it, famous people do it. It's like, why?
You have, all them people who will be sitting there having an argument with their wife or their girlfriend about whatever their situation is, and they got their phone. Why are you recording me? Now, don't get me confused. There's one dude that I remember seeing his, and he's like, he explained, she asked, why are you recording me? And he said, because when the camera's not on, you're a different person. You act. So now I want to record it so that way, either you going to stay being this person who you not, or if you do switch up on me, it's all on tape. This way I can come back to this. And I was like, well, in that case, if she do switch
or when violence or something's involved, it's like, no. Like, if I would, I wouldn't be with somebody I think that would call the police on me for any little thing. But no, I've seen some stuff out there where they're like, nah, she can call the police on me before. You call the police on me once, it's over.
We done.
There ain't no, I'm sorry, or I felt like, no. If I ain't never put my hands on you, I ain't never done nothing.
Never in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you calling the police on me, you're not calling the police to try to restrain me from you, because I ain't never put my hands on you to make you feel like you needed somebody to keep a barrier between us. I feel like if you call the cops on me for something that's going on in our house, you're trying to call reinforcements. You're trying to call a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You want somebody to do something to give me some form of consequence so that you could be like, oh, well, I got him that way because you couldn't best me in any other way. If that's the case, if you feel like, that's why I'm so against that whole men and women in competition. I feel like we shouldn't be in competition. You got your lane and I got mine.
Agreed.
And because I respect your lane, I ain't gonna ever raise my hand against you. Because you respect my lane, vice versa. You ain't never raising your hand against me. We got a problem and something we can't come to a conclusion with, let's back off.
Yeah.
Get you some distance. Think yours through. I'll give me some distance. Think mine through. And if we can't figure it out, it's over. Let it go.
Agreed. All I know, you call police on me, I don't care.
No.
It's over.
No.
I'm like, I love my wife to death, but again, call police on me if you want to.
No.
I'm gone. It's over.
Because on top, I'm like, if you really feel the need that you have to call the police on me, then you should feel the exact same way. You should
have been like, I gotta leave him.
I gotta leave. Because at that point, you feel like it's a threat. It's a threat that's visible enough to where you feel like you need to call attention to it by the police. So, okay, you're right. But you call the police, you basically called it off.
But when we come back to the thing about Gary Owens, one of the things I know that he was even saying he was hurt by, he has never done nothing to wrong to his children, but for his children to not want to be in his life because he's not with their mom and they basically took her side on things and he broke up the family. I know that gotta hurt.
So that's something that we as men play, like we paint the picture even from like their adolescence, from their childhood, that if anything should happen, like majority of the time the accountability falls solely on the father, right?
Yeah. So
if it don't work out in the relationship, you don't want to try to figure out what's going on. You fall back on your defaults. Mom's the victim, dad's the aggressor.
Yeah.
If I got a problem that I need solved with aggression, I call my dad. If I got a problem that I just really want to be consoled or nurtured, I go see my mom.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, he was going to lose that battle 10 times. Even if the situation had been reversed. As I know, they were on the fence about being together. He ended up getting another woman and all this, and the kids found out, and you know, all that.
The kids didn't find out. Mom found out, and kids found out because mom found out.
Right, so she was hurt. So she was the one who brought the news to him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you sitting up here, you got your father. It's easy to paint him as a villain because majority of the time how he moved was with power. He, like I said, if you got a problem that you need to be solved with aggression, that's the person you reach to, right?
Okay.
Now, a person who's already been able to use the victim role just in general, just from a societal stance, right? She used it, and she used it on the person that you was like, if there's one person who could be a villain in this house, it's probably dad, right?
Okay.
She used that on you with them, and then boom. Granted, I don't even think like she was being malicious in it. She's just like, your dad cheating on me. I'm not going to stand for that. I'm calling for a divorce. And then the kids being that, oh no, if mom's the victim, we stand 100% behind mom. And that's really a reflection of what he instilled. It's like, right is right, wrong is wrong. And whoever's wrong, distance yourself. Because I don't know him personally, but I would hope that he's telling them, hey, if you see somebody in the wrong, don't sit idly by. And because the silence is also saying that I agree, you joining that team. So they picked a side. When reality, ideally for the male in that situation is, my kids don't have to pick sides, so they can always come to me.
Yeah.
Right? And also, relationships and the complexities that it has is really nuanced. The complexities that a relationship have, especially the relationship between your mother and father, you don't have enough in-depth knowledge about how that thing works to make an informed decision. So his wife probably was just telling them to let them know, hey, this is what's going to change. It's going to be break from the norm. I'm not going to be with him no more. And they took it as, oh, well, in order to show solidarity with mom, I gotta pick her side. And if you listen to how he speaks about the story, it's like, you know, we had really fallen out of love. We grown apart. It was we not the same. It wasn't what it was when we started this thing. So we've grown into two totally different people. And we really at that point in their relationship, I believe they was just holding it together for the kids. You know what I'm saying? But he was telling the story one day. He was like, I just got mad because I was walking a dog and I knew, you know, it was up. Because, you know, when you start getting mad about stuff that you shouldn't really get mad about, it's like, why am I mad? My home life is in shambles. It's in shambles. You know, so.
Yeah, but I understand. This is a big shout out to him, though, because I'm like, I like that, like, I don't want people to air their dirty laundry. No. But I do believe that, hey, I do want to make this statement known. I love my children. I love my family. All those kind of things. It's like, you should be able to explain, hey, it didn't work out the right way. I wish it would have. But this is what happened. Cool. Not try to bash them, not try to make them look crazy or anything like that. And I'm like, I hope other people, if you do not stay together, you should at least try to remain cordial because there are little lives. If not little lives, there are other people. Like, your children get to a certain age, they ain't little no more. No. But it's like, hey, all these lives are affected because of divorce. So it's like, you know, think about those things. Make sure that both people, whether you're the initiator or you're just the person accepting it, it's like, okay, make sure that you're letting your children make a decision that's not about mommy or daddy's feelings.
Right.
Like, oh, well, I'm mad at this moment, so you got to be mad as my child because if you're not mad, then
you ain't with me. You ain't on my side. So, yeah. It's just one of those things, bro.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hope for the best of him. And he got 2 kids coming. And I know he said that he was really excited because of the situation with his current kids. He's like, you know, I didn't think that it would pan out this way. But my best advice to you, Mr. Gary Owens, is once you have these 2 kids, don't get divorced.
Have a vasectomy.
Have a vasectomy. Stay in these 2 kids' life to the end. Like, you know, all pamper changes, all little league games, high school basket, whatever. You just so entrenched in their lives to where.
But then it sounds like the older kid's gonna be pissed off. Oh, he was in y'all lives.
You already mad. You can't tell me how to react to how you treated me, especially if I know I did good by you. In his case, he's saying I did good by them.
Yeah,
I really put on for them, and I wasn't there, so I don't know if he's telling the truth or lying. But his statements do sound genuine, personally. I really put on for them, and the second that hardship come or you know separation happens, I didn't just lose my wife. I lost my wife and my kids. And nobody want to come see me. Nobody want to come see about me. None of that. Okay, yeah, I should probably put something in place to where the next time that's not going to be something that happens to me. Yeah. I'm going to be known as the nurturer. Okay?
Yeah.
Mom's going to handle everything with aggression. I'm not losing everything again. Man, have already. They have no more. That's it.
But yeah. But on another note, love to shout out all the beautiful mothers out there. We coming up on Mother's Day. Y'all have a great Mother's Day. Be easy, stay safe. Show some love to mothers out there.
That's how nice. Oh, hi Mom. Happy Mother's Day. Outside of that, it's another episode of Something for the People.
Y'all be easy.
Hold down.